Welcome back to their Friday Cooking Live with Mika and friends. Here we are in my humble little kitchen. We are going to be showing you our foolproof method for doing pork back ribs. You can do side ribs, but our family, myself, we're not partial to them. They tend to have a lot of cartilage along with the bone. Makes it more tougher eating. These are so flavorful. So anyways, I had tough time finding these pork ribs. I had to rush around to go and find some. None in the freezer at all. But what I'll show you here is two nice racks of back ribs. Okay, these are just thawed out. They are ready to go. There is a membrane on the back. A lot of people recommend tearing this membrane off. I recently tried because people keep seeing videos of people taking the membrane off. If you braise these in the oven for the method I'm showing you, it's not going to matter. The meat's going to fall off the bone, and that membrane is actually going to help to keep things together a little bit, and they won't interfere in the flavor or the texture. So first things first, I have a basic dish that I'm going to baking tray I'm using for this, just to show you. What I'm going to do with this here is add some broth, onion, and garlic, as well as salt and pepper. So I have 2 onions. This is and my my oven right now is set to 300 degrees. Boom, you can see it there. And I have a pan in the oven that has been in the oven for 2 hours. About 300, 325. I dropped down a little bit. What the braising does with the liquid and the covered ribs, it helps to break down the connective tissue. And so what happens is you keep the moisture in, instead of extracting all the flavor, some moisture stays in, and you get nice, moist, tender meat. What I also love about it is that whatever broth or beer you plan on using, you get to use that in the sauce afterwards. And I'm going to show you a quick little barbecue sauce that I've started making here at the house. Sometimes I make too spicy and they don't like it. You know, you take the good with the bad.
Good filming, buddy.
Yeah, looking good. Okay. So I'm just going to take my ribs and I put my onion on top. Now, if you're using a Dutch oven, or I'll show you a container I have in the oven right now, with a lid, it does make it a little bit easier. It does make it a little easier for you, because you're not going to worry about having to foil it and get a good seal on it. The garlic, I'm just going to make it the smaller pieces, just a little bit smaller, so I can distribute it better. And realistically, once I put some salt and pepper, again, I'm seasoning every step of the way, unless I know things are heavily salted, like some feta cheese or whatnot. I'm just put a little pepper on top. I'm using the bulk stuff because I'm making the rub afterwards. And then we'll grab, hold the camera there. I'm gonna grab a beer. So, I'll share the beer with the ribs. I'll have the rest later for myself.
Shout out for questions there, Mika.
Yeah, any questions at all? This step, you can use beer, broth, water, wine if you wanted to. I'm just gonna put some beer on top of these. Not quite the full can. You see, they're not swimming. I just have some liquid on there. With that, I'm gonna add a little bit of chicken broth, which I have in here. Filmography is getting much better, I must say. Now, the benefit of doing this is that you get all the flavor from the ribs and the cartilage and the fat melts away, and you don't lose it. You get to use that for your sauce later. So, but before I cover this, I want to show you a quick little trick. Whenever you ever notice when you have aluminum foil and it reacts with the acid, or reacts to the meat, it's a good way of stopping that is using parchment paper.
Using what, honey?
Parchment paper on top to stop that funny aluminum spoiling look on there. So,
does it something to give a bad taste sometimes, or?
I haven't noticed a taste, but I don't like the look. Doesn't look very nice. I'm sure no one wants to eat more aluminum than they have to. So I'm going to cover this tightly. I'm going to open this oven door. And it's our pan I already had in there. Okay, so be gentle with that. And then out of the oven, again, 2 hours, 225, around there. Ovens will vary in temperature quite a bit, so you need to monitor it. And for this, I'm gonna set my kitchen timer before I forget.
Monica saying hi.
Okay. This is my finished product. I love these lids. I love anything with the lid. It just saves me having to waste time on foil.
Would you try something like that if somebody was interested?
I got this at Stops, but again, you can use a Dutch oven, anything that's large enough to go with it. So you see these onions and garlic. They're all nice and kind of mushy now. What I'm taking from this now is another baking sheet. I'm going to transfer. I'm going to scrape off all the onions and garlic. Take my ribs.
The back.
Back ribs, yeah. Oh, sorry, and you might have seen they're laying down in the pan. I didn't cover this with the cup side. So the meat side was down on the bottom.
What temp for your oven, hun?
300, 225, somewhere in there. But you'll notice that these have not, they're just braised. So there's moisture, they were covered, and they get tender. If you cook them too long, then when you cook this, they'll split apart very easily. I was able to hold them up like this, and then it go. Then the last step we're gonna do to finish these off, once we can make the rub, we're gonna pack the rub, make our sauce, and then out to the barbecue. And all we're gonna do with the barbecue is just layer the sauce on them. The layer sauce.
So are we gonna film the barbecue?
Oh yes.
Well,
So I think we should. I think we should finish the video and then start it again and then go outside.
Oh, you could just go for a walk. Don't
We
you
go for a
worry.
walk. Yeah, let's not start the barbecue for me.
Do you need the barbecue started now?
Yeah. So into my little bowl, I'm gonna take my pan of.
And you had cooked those for what, 2 hours, Mika?
Yeah, it was 2 hours. But if you recall how much liquid I added, I didn't put the same my earlier batch, but look at all the drippings that come from that. Now, very important, you can do this all in one step. You can do this all in one step the day before, stop here, but treat these ribs with your rub, and then refrigerate them the next day, heat them up, and finish the barbecue. Or a smoker if you have it, that would be a nice little additional touch. Okay, the next step is going to be the rub. I'm going to show Kai in 1 second. Please. Okay, can we get on this side, right side, please? Okay, this rub that we're going to make, I got it from Smoke and Spice, a really awesome book about Southern barbecue. And this was one great takeaway that I got from it. So this is the first step, 3/4. I usually do it by eye. This is totally new for me to go by recipe. But I'm adding some regular paprika, as well as some smoked paprika, because I really love the flavor. So about 3/4 cup. Paprika is a very mild flavored chili. There's not a lot of heat to it. You can get some Hungarian ones with some heat to it, some sweetness. But paprika, all in all, you want to use a decent quality so that it's not just like sawdust. That can be the worst thing possible. Next thing I need about 1/4 cup, right Al? Recipe. A 1/4 cup of sugar. I'm going to use a xylitol. It's a substitute. 1/4 cup roughly, a little bit less actually. Like a xylitol substitute. Add that in the bowl. This makes a big batch. This will do a few ribs. You can put on chicken. You can put on anything. Some salt in there.
A lot of salt.
What's a 1/4 cup? And a 1/4 cup of pepper. Now that's a lot of pepper, but you will see how that paprika helps to add the flavor. Up a little bit. Okay, here we go. onion powder. Onion powder, just a selection. As you can see, we're not sponsored by anyone. These are all stuff from our pantry. So, onion powder. I have 2 tablespoons here. And add in 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. I like a little more garlic powder. And onion, garlic, chili powder. If I throw up chili powder. Where's my chili? I have my chili in a weird spot. It's like a like travel container. Chili powder does have a bit of heat to it, so it kind of minimizes a little bit of that. If you don't mind heat, feel free to add some more chili powder. And then
You have to make them with me in mind.
yeah, everything has to be very mild. And a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Again, that goes a long way with the cayenne pepper. Okay. And go to my ingredient list. I'm not missing anything. Pepper, salt, sugar, chili powder. Yeah, and that's it. I didn't measure it in advance. Okay, and that is done. So I'm just gonna quickly mix that. I should have saved my spoon. Now I'm gonna mix it just in the bowl with a spoon. After when I'm done with it, I'm gonna put it in a mason jar, nice dry mason jar, and seal that up. Put it in my. I always have a rub on the go. I've had some with curry flavor to it. Rubs are wonderful for adding flavor. They're for chicken, for pork. You can make some that are for fish. For if you're doing a brisket, the rubs are ubiquitous. The point of this rub on these ribs, what this is going to allow us is it's gonna give us more of a surface for the sauce to stick to. If you try to put sauce on ribs, it kind of like just washes away. This really gives it's gonna help to suck in some of that moisture and it's gonna give something to it. It's like adding, it's like sanding your wall or preparing your wall before you paint. So this is gonna help to prepare your surface. So onto here, I'm gonna get my hands a little dirty. Again, I'm gonna season these ribs up here. If you find they don't stick very well, a little bit of oil can go well.
The oil will make the...
Yeah, just mix it more into a paste.
Oh, okay. Would you put the oil right on the ribs, or would you mix it with the...
Well, if you mix it with the rub, you can store it dry, but it's a little bit of oil. And the bottom side, I'm gonna take this here and lightly drizzle. So, let's say I was having supper tomorrow and I was really stressed. These ribs are great because all you have to do tomorrow is kind of pull them out early enough and out of the fridge after this step is done. So I take this, wrap them up, put them in the fridge, and then the next day, just warm them up a little bit, put them in the oven, and then finish them the way we're gonna do right now. Okay, super simple. And you can see these are nice and pliable, but they're not breaking apart. You can see here, this is coming off. It's just falling off the bone. It wants to come off, but it's not quite ready yet. You have to get them ready for it. Okay, quick hand wash. Now, what I've talked a lot with my father-in-law, Timo, who is, he's an up-and-coming chef in the kitchen. He loves making broths for soups and sauces and everything. He's big into broths. He loves the bone broth. So if we walk over here, Kai, I will show everyone what's happening. So we have our ingredients here. This is our broth that and onion and garlic. Often make a barbecue sauce. You save this. You will take onion and garlic and you will saute the pan to soften it. We've already softened it. We have the flavor from the broth, from the beer, from everything else, and most of the water is gone. But you have a lot of that gelatin and rest of the flavor from the pork is there. The drippings. So what I do, if you have food processor or the equivalent, I have an awful lot of broth there. I'm going to save this for next time, but what I did, just to show you, when it cools, it looks a little yucky. Trust me, it's not yucky. But I took the fat off. This is a cooled one I made last week. I took the fat cap off, and I have the onions and garlic in here. I don't use all of it because there's just way too much for the amount of ingredients I have. So I'm gonna take this is starting to heat up. It literally looked like Jello. When I was doing it, it looked like Jello. So into there, I have a couple cups of the broth. That's looks like to me. How many cups? Ooh, 2 cups. Sure, 2 cups of the broth. I have some ketchup. This is the no sugar added ketchup from PC. Oh, I'm making a mess everywhere. I'm at about a cup of ketchup. Pre-measured that. Making a mess. That was unfortunate.
Showing all the dirty dishes.
No, it's not lots. I'm gonna add some tomato paste. A little tin of tomato paste. It's gonna be perfect for here. Cut the top and bottom off. It comes out nice and easily with the butter knife after.
Monica blessed you.
Aw.
And you can let everyone know I just posted the recipe in the comments.
Okay, so I'm gonna make 1 tin of stuff there. I'm gonna put my away. Again, I'm trying to go as quick as possible to get this done. We have some white wine vinegar. I'm just gonna add a couple splashes in there. I've made this a few times in the past, and if I don't like the flavor of it, I adjust it afterwards. More ketchup, or whatever else. Worcester sauce, not on the list. I love it. It's great. Adds some nice tang. You can't get away with any buffalo sauce or Tabasco. So I got a little bit of buffalo, Frank's buffalo sauce in there. Liquid smoke, great to have for making barbecue sauces at home if you do happen to. Now, if you happen to have a few dashes here, if you happen to have your own pre-made barbecue sauce, that's totally fine. You don't have, but I would still recommend saving these drippings for super soups a little later on.
What about using a stir?
Oh, excuse me. Oh.
Everyone's sneezing.
Yeah, it's the pepper. Thank you for panning away. Whew, that's the hot sauce got to me.
Watch him cleaning his hands.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Thank you for panning away. Oh, okay. And what I'm gonna, just to continue the flavor, can you, hello? I have the, this nice rub we made is gonna be a nice little addition to my, because I didn't add any salt, pepper, anything else. I had a couple of tablespoons in there. And the next step is to give it a quick whiz and see what happens. Okay, a blender would be a little preferred. We have a very tiny blender here at the house, so I didn't want to use it. I'm gonna take a second. If you have chipotle peppers, that would be nice and beautiful in here. If you have a tin of those, if you like spice, some fresh herbs, if you're down with that. Okay. Let's go. Can I get you on camera for a second?
You want us on camera?
Well, I'm gonna do as the camera
That's
here.
fine.
Yeah. And a taste
We're
this.
working very hard here.
Yes. We're doing
Yeah. So,
comments.
well, let's give Mom and Ella a taste here. Okay.
Yay.
Okay.
This is,
Ella, you have please.
Coming.
Anything? I really hold this. Pass them up.
Okay.
Pass them up.
Pass them up.
And for you, Ella, for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's mine here.
I like it. Very good.
it's not too spicy.
No.
No.
It's perfect.
It's not cooked out, but more or less everything in there has been cooked. It's ready to go. It's not too acidic. I may add a little more vinegar to it. A little more of a rub. That's what it.
Ella.
I wanted a little more tang, and a little more tang in my sauce. I'm not big on sweetness, but more tang. So I'm gonna add some more vinegar, just a tad, and add a little bit more of the Worcestershire. Is that barbecue lit, guys?
You think Mom did it? Yep.
It was awesome.
I'm gonna take it back on the other side.
I just want a little more seasoning. So again, the remainder I have here, the remainder of my rub, is going to go into a container for later use. And quick whiz, and we're ready to go. Now let's get a little brush. Ready to go. This sauce, I recommend if you're going to keep this sauce, because you saw there was a lot of drippings, meat products in there. You need probably to freeze this. It'll last a couple days in the fridge, probably about a week or so. But make sure that if you're not going to use it, please freeze it and then pull it out the next time you make ribs. Or if you have too much of your drippings, take this and freeze it. If you only want to keep the broth before you freeze, just the broth liquid, just take this and strain it, and then this will be a beautiful addition to any kind of sauce you're making in the future, or soup. Okay, so the grill should be hot. Kai's gonna go help us out. Barbecue sauce whizzed
We
up
did a
in
camera switch.
2.2 seconds. I'm gonna grab the rack and hopefully it's clean the way it's not actually clean.
We're going for a little walk now.
We'll walk outside.
Yeah, well, I didn't clean the rest of the house.
Can I have long tongs, please, guys?
Can I grab the long tongs bud for them?
I forgot I don't have shoes on.
That's alright, just stand right there. Okay. Barbecue is blazing. Just a second, I'm just going to get the remainder off. And tongs? Okay. I asked for long tongs. That's fine.
they're not really.
That's- That's fine, thank you. Okay, so we'll leave it here. Just brush it on top. You may have to pour it because there's a little bit goes at a time. And I'm not trying to burn these. I just want to get them on the barbecue so that they can finish cooking, kind of get some caramelization, but nothing burnt. I want to avoid like too much black. If you have a smoker, this is a perfect way to kind of finish these off. You'll have a nice smoky flavor to them. And let everyone has a nice tray to work on. I know someone who just got recently a new one.
Get up.
Yeah. It'd be nice to add some more smoky flavor. But we've kind of done that with our liquid smoke. Okay.
Big tongs. We got the good tongs we did.
Yep, perfect. Thank you.
I'll have you, sister.
Okay. And then from this point, doesn't matter which side you start with. Start with first, but I kind of go two sides, and I'll close. Now this is on above. It's about a high heat. I'm gonna keep a very close eye on the ribs to make sure they don't burn. I'm gonna give them maybe 2 minutes each side. About 2 minutes, then flip. 2 minutes, then flip, and so 3 flips is all you're gonna be getting. I'm just trying to get some interesting looking color on them. And put it back on this tray because this tray was clean. Had all it had on it was the cooked ribs, and so back on that messy tray. So yeah, it's on high heat. It won't take very long. Please post any questions so that Van can yell them out to me out here in the backyard.
Or
So we
I can yell them out because they're right here.
So we can answer your questions. This may take a little bit longer for you to cook at home, but again, this can be made have supper tonight at 8 o'clock. Really, from 5 to 7, and then by 7:30, 8 o'clock, you're having beautiful ribs. Or, like I said, make them in advance. When the rub is on them, you take them, stash them away in the fridge, take them the next day, put them on a sheet pan, heat them up either in a barbecue or in the oven for a bit, or just room temperature, and finish them off like this. They don't take very long. This temp here is about 400 degrees. Currently is what the barbecue shows. I'm just gonna show you here quickly. Get some of these char marks on it. That's all you wanna do. And add a little more sauce to make up for where we're stuck. And see how it's sticking to the ribs nicely. You didn't lose all that sauce. It's sticking nicely with that rub. It helps to keep things nice and sticky. I'll stay around for the next video just to make sure that you're okay. And when we're done this, we'll go inside, in literally 5-6 minutes, we'll go inside and we'll cut these bad boys up, and I'll show you what I mean. If you happen to overcook your ribs, they'll taste great, just they'll be very tough to flip. When you go to grab the ribs, they're gonna wanna flop and then break. If you didn't cook them enough, they're gonna be a little more tough to get off the bone. But you'll see when you take them out, they'll have a certain look to them. The bones will be a little darkened on the ends, and you'll be able to pull the meat off rather easily at the end. So it's pretty simple tells there. Everyone's oven's different, pans are different, so you have to watch a few cues here and there. That's why I was hoping people have some questions at home.
No questions so far.
No questions yet.
Or there could just be a delay. We don't know. Just delay. Oh my god.
It smells good.
Get the rib ends. I didn't get these last time. Sucker for the sauces. I love the sauce on these. It adds a nice tangy flavor to it.
I think she agrees. A little bit windy outside today.
Yeah, it's a little cool and windy today. At least it's not raining. I would have had my assistant have to get the umbrella to help out with you if it was raining. So we're still on hot. Let it go.
Oh, we have a question.
Yes.
Do you ever check temp with thermometer?
In the ribs themselves, it's a little bit tough.
Oh, and if so, what should the temp be?
Yeah, usually 165 is the temperature for fully cooked. When you're working with these, I hate to say it, but I never really check temperatures in the ribs. I never actually check the temps. But like you can tell when they're cooked, it's more about how the heat and time affects the tenderness of the meat. Because ribs by themselves are not very tender. They need time, and they need heat and some moisture, some acid that will help to break down the connective tissue so that they become nice and fall off the bone. A lot of your tender cuts will not have the same amount of connective tissue. The reason why a lot of people will boil their ribs, they'll smoke them for a long period of time. It's just low and slow with low heat and some time, so that they can break it down. Okay, hope that answers your question. If you're retherming anything, it should be 160, 165, so it should be Fahrenheit when you probe it, and that's the meatiest part. If you're gonna reheat these ribs later, when you cut them in between the ribs, they should be hot. Like they should be hot to touch. And we'll go inside and we'll cut those up. Can you go clear off the cutting board for me? Or put it aside, because now you have the area cleared off.
Sure.
One more quick flip.
Whoa. Your bone is going to be stuck there.
Yeah. I'm liking the look of this. It's nice. So again, 2 minutes more on that, and we'll go inside and I'll show you how I usually cut these up. found usually I'll take these riblets instead of having every single one, every 2 or 3, and that way.
Talk louder because of construction.
Construction.
Yes.
Tell them to stop. We're recording.
Yes.
I don't think we can do that.
Some stop. But yeah, back to temps. If you didn't hear me well with the temps, low and slow, 165 for the retherming. When I braised it, 300 degrees in the oven for about 2 hours. Again, I'm finishing these on the barbecue. If you have a smoker and you want to do it a little bit lower temperature because you want to add a smoky flavor, that is totally fine as well. You can put your ribs on the smoker with the rub, with the baste, and let them go for a bit just to add a smoky nuance to it. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Wood fire would be nice to these too. Push them off. I've done that before. There you go. And I'm liking this. I am really liking that.
They look really good.
Okay. Rub it off. Can I cut the sauce please for me?
Yes.
You follow me?
Back into the Costco household.
What is that accent? I'm very curious.
A second.
Okay.
They look good.
Yeah, so we're back from outside, a little chilly out there. All I'm gonna do with these now. Now you can take these if you're not gonna eat right away. Just cover them in foil. Wait till this is done. But I'll show you quickly. Now I usually flip them on the back side like this, and I cut them just into 2. So every 2 ribs, and that way there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, well 13 ribs, and looks pretty decent to me. So you get 2 pieces per person to start off with. Anyways, that's it for us. Look at this here, but I'm gonna make a mess of this. Nice and hot through. They're gonna fall apart. See when I do this, meat just comes right off. No worries about the connective tissue. It breaks down. It actually helps to keep things all together. So instead of making a fool of myself and eating now, I'll just sign off. Thanks for the camera people and my production team and all our sponsors. Well, and hope that friends and family have fun doing this. Any staff and any students from Cambrian, good luck doing this. It's a really fun thing to do this sometime. What's that?
YouTube.
Yes, and a little shout out. All our videos we're doing are being uploaded to YouTube. It's Mika Koskela. Search on YouTube. You'll see all the videos are posted there for later reference. Okay?